Hello, this is Beaver's COVID update for Monday the 6th of April. Hope you're all well, hope you're all surviving. Three bits of information I wanted to get across today, one on vaccinations, one on insurance cover, and the third on an update with regard to guidance from the Royal College and from Beaver and from others. Starting with vaccinations, you'll be aware that both the BHA and the BEF have issued statements on vaccinations. There's been a fair amount of criticism of those. Beaver has had input into those statements or those positions, along with Richard Newton from the Animal Health Trust. We are, however, not the regulators, so the regulators make their decisions having received our input. So there are bits there which we think are really good and bits there which we think are perhaps not as helpful as they might be. I think we all need to bear in mind, particularly when communicating with the client base, that actually horses are in lockdown as well at the moment. And during the period of lockdown, and particularly when there's no reported cases of equine flu this year, the risk of transmission of flu amongst the population is extremely low. And therefore, now is a time where changes can be made, particularly if it's going to make it easier for clients going forward and the rapid resumption of sport after this horrible thing is all over. Clearly, once the restrictions are removed, horses are not in lockdown, then the rules will need to be tightened again, or at least that would be our advice and our guidance. On insurance matters, questions been raised about whether veterinary cover insurance will be invalidated if the vaccinations aren't up to date. I've had feedback from most of the insurance companies now, and the answer is that all of them are understanding and recognising that vaccination is going to be difficult, and therefore insurance cover will be continued as long as people are vaccinating when they're able to vaccinate. The other issue on vaccination is whether policies for which were partway through claims would be extended over the 12 months if the claim wasn't completed within the 12-month period. And again, almost all of the insurance companies have come back to us and said that they are considering on a case-by-case basis. They recognise that there is going to be a need for some flexibility in the way that they interpret the guidance or their policies, and they are willing to do so. So having had that, I think we can reassure clients that if they speak to their insurers at an early stage, they will probably be allowed to extend their cover without extra penalty. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, as Tim told you on Friday, we wrote to the Royal College explaining what we thought was a sensible way forward in terms of an evolution of the guidance that the Royal College had put out previously. That was really that we suggested a more risk-based approach to ambulatory work rather than an approach which was restricting based on category of procedure. The RCBS are, we believe, undertaking a review of that guidance this week, and we hope to be able to report on that as soon as we can. But in the interim, there have been various conversations that have gone on today, including one that I've just had on a weekly DEFRA call where the CVO was in place. The CVO and Lord Gardner, the appropriate minister in DEFRA, have both approved the protocols that the TBA have put in respect of thoroughbred breeding. And there is an acceptance that that sort of approach was a very sensible approach, and that government did not intend to stop veterinary businesses from functioning. In fact, it wanted businesses to continue. So I'm hopeful, very hopeful, that we will see a change in Royal College guidance over the next week, and that it will be in line with our expectations and hopes that we'll be able to not relax our procedures, but carry out things that can be carried out safely with an appropriate risk assessment, rather than having a blanket no to certain procedures. I hope that helps. I hope that's reassuring. I know that many of you have written into Beaver. I hope you understand that with all the stuff that's going on and the speed of changes, it's not been possible to respond to everybody. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do any of the negotiating we're doing with the various other bodies, which we've considered to be pretty important. Hope you're all well and stay well. Look after yourselves. Thanks very much.